No, Crystal, can you get up and be like Zoe off the Proud Family movie?
No.
Like, go Zoe, go Zoe.
Marquez, we're live.
Host. Welcome to WNBA 365, ladies and gentlemen. Your 24/7 semi-comprehensive place for all things WNBA. I am your host, Eric Demchak, and tonight we're going to be doing things a little differently, even more differently than last night, because we're going to have a debate tonight. Yes, the presidential debate of the WNBA Finals. We got two very good teams here, two very solid teams. And see, here's the thing. I didn't watch the game because I was in school against my will. But luckily, we have four very suitable experts to break this down for you, as you can see across the floating heads at the bottom of your screen there. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do a back and forth sort of thing about the key points of the game, what to expect, what happened, what do we think is going to happen in the future. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So first of all, in the blue corner, we have Team Petty Boots, Crystal and Marquez.
Petty.
Making opening statements.
Petty.
Okay, there's your opening statement from Team Petty Boots. Okay, in the red corner, opposing Team Petty Boots, we have the Dallas Diamonds, Reagan and Shorty. Dallas Diamonds, how you doing tonight?
So
Hey, we representing Dallas Diamonds.
Representing the Dallas Diamonds. Okay. Y'all don't want to know where that name came from, by the way. Okay. So, Game 2 WNBA Finals, Lynx versus Sparks, two best teams in the league. We get it already, right? So, the results maybe a little bit of a surprise after the close game that was yesterday. Lynx blew out the Sparks, 79-60. Maybe it wasn't even that close. The fourth quarter, I think, was the real kick. It was the real nail in the coffin, would you say? Lynx outscored the Sparks 25-14. And guys, one thing that immediately jumps out to me is the Sparks never really had control of this game. They had one quarter when they outscored Minnesota, and that was the third. They outscored them by 6 points, 21-15. But other than that, the Lynx just in complete control of this game from the start to the finish. Team Petty Boots, what happened to your Sparks? What happened? What do you think? Was it something Minnesota did? Was it something LA didn't do? Go ahead.
it was a lot. I mean, there was a lot of bad shots made, a lot of bad decisions made. There was a lot of dumb things done. Like Gruda just gets to the game and travels as soon as she touches the ball. Candace Parker still shooting those threes that we talked about the other day that are not a very good shot choice. LA couldn't hit their free throws when they needed to. They couldn't get to the line enough. And I mean, the refs did a little bit of the problem, but I'm not going to blame it so much on them because there were some things that LA should have done before it got to that point.
Yeah, 4 shots.
Does your teammate have anything to
I was going to say teammate.
Yeah, 4 shots, and then rebounding. Like they couldn't box anyone out. Like Minnesota was getting possession after possession after possession. LA really couldn't do anything to combat that except for foul or turn the ball over or do something completely off the wall. Like it was really unfathomable how they couldn't really weather the storm, at least you can say, because like Crystal said, it was turnover after turnover. People would get into the game, turn the ball over. People would rush shots. People would take bad shots. No one would rebound. So it was a multitude of things.
All right, Dallas Diamonds, you are now up. You are on the clock. What happened to LA in this game after such a successful game one?
You can start first, Reagan.
Well, I mean, I agree with everything that whatever their team name
Petty Boots
is. Yeah, I agree with that.
Wow.
We didn't rebound. LA didn't rebound at all. They didn't box anyone out. It just seems like they weren't there. Like their heads weren't in the game. Too many 3-point shots. Too many that weren't going in. And they were going in the paint weak and expecting foul calls. Like, you can't go in the paint weak. You just can't.
Yes, I definitely agree, especially when they noticed that the refs wasn't calling it in their favor, like the last game. They just pretty much broke down. I mean, there were too many, foul calls against them, and they didn't know how to weather the storm. But just over on LA's case, everything that they said they were going to continue to do, from game one, they completely went backward. I mean, Lynx did a great job holding them down to 32% shooting, in LA. We're even worse from the 3-point line, shooting only 15%. And I mean, they were out rebounded 32-46. So it's like, LA did better on the rebounded end, but just Minnesota turned it up a notch, so, everything that LA said they were going to do, they pretty much reverted in this game.
Yeah, very true, very true. Now, LA was missing some major contributions here. Candace Parker, 3 for 12, Kristen Tolliver, 3 for 14. Team Petty Boots, what needs to change there? What did you guys see from those two players, and how do they get it back in gear for Game 3?
What was the question?
How did Candace Parker and Christy Tolliver get it going again? And what happened tonight?
Oh, okay.
They were forcing way too much. They were, I mean, it was just forcing. Like, they weren't going with the flow of the offense at all. At some points, Candace would have mismatches, or she would have like the advantage, and she just go in weak, or she just take a bad shot over someone when she could have just posted up and made a move and could have gotten fouled, or just made the shot in general instead of launching threes. At some point, you could tell that she kind of got in her head, because she would pass up open shots that she did have, and she would just give it up. So I can kind of say that she wasn't really playing like herself, and she lost her confidence as the game went on. And Tolliver, I just think it was an off night. She had a pretty good game in game one. And I think this time was just a case of just not making her shots. And on the other end for NECA, at least, she only shot the ball 6 times. She didn't really have enough touches, in my opinion.
Other half of team, what do you think?
I would agree. I mean, I know you didn't watch the game, but there was a lot of times where Candace would just get the ball and just chuck it up there. I mean, she didn't even try to drive it in. She didn't try to get on the elbow, didn't try to go in the paint. It just seemed like Candace was trying to play pretty basketball instead of get in there and do the hard, dirty work. And like Marquez said, I mean, I feel like they didn't give NECA the ball enough at all. There's no way that your MVP should only have 6 shots. There's no way that your MVP should only be touching the ball 6 times. There was a lot of stuff that could have been done, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of the guards didn't get the chance to pass the ball enough like they should have. And as far as KT, I think KT would get it back. I mean, she's too great of a player to not get the game back. We all know KT gets hard on herself, which makes me think game 3, she's probably going to come out and play a lot better than she did. But it's just that there was, like you said, there was a lot of forced shots. There was a lot of opportunities that could have been better, but that were just completely missed because it seemed like the Sparks just played with bad basketball IQ today.
Very good point. Dallas Diamonds, what do you think?
Megan,
you got it first, Shorty.
All right. Well, just I know we are taking time with whoever starts first, but I just think, overall, you have to credit, Minnesota's defense. I mean, they pretty much switched up their game plan from the last game. Game 1, they were, denying the ball. They were overplaying. They stopped that. They just strictly played up straight up man to man. And, when they did that, clamped down on their defense, it caused LA, in particular Candace Parker, to force up a lot of dumb shots that didn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm like, girl, go in, drive. And she just flinging it away. And I'm like, no, why? So LA was making a lot of crazy decisions, but I credit, that to the Minnesota defense.
I agree with what everyone has been saying. I think the reason for Christy Tolliver's off night is the fact that our offense just wasn't there. She's a better player when our offense is flowing, and that's because she gets more open shots because, most of our points do come from Candace and NECA. And when they're scoring, most of the defenses I'm sorry. Most of the
A cursor is hovering.
Face palm.
Look, I'm gonna die, okay?
Don't do it again.
Most of the defense. plays when they're scoring. So
Okay. All right. Moving on now. We have a comment in the chat box from some fellow named Callum Max Sports. Callum McClurg. He says, this is a normal question in every sports playoff series. Will this be considered a moral victory for LA splitting the first two games? Dallas Diamonds, we're starting with you.
wait, what was the question? I'm so sorry.
The question was, is it a moral victory that LA split the series?
Is it a moral victory?
Go first. You're muted.
Wait.
Brody's on mute right now.
You're trying to hear on mute.
There we go.
This show is a mess. Anyway, no, there's no moral victory. I mean, LA didn't come out and play their best, so a loss is a loss.
I 100% agree.
Okay, Petty Boots, what do you think? Moral victory or not?
There was more that Reggie wanted to say. It's all over her face, but definitely not. There's honestly, I don't think there's any such thing as moral victory, especially in professional sports. I think moral victories only work here, like you coach like a little league team or something. Then you're like, hey guys, at least you did this better. But when it comes to professional sports and there's a championship on the line, there's no such thing. Moral victories mean nothing. I know the Sparks players, especially Elena Beard, they don't want to hear about no moral victory. They don't want to even think about a moral victory. They want a real victory. A moral victory does nothing you can hang your head on, and it's not something that that those competitors in that locker room are remotely even thinking about.
Yeah, I'd say they're probably more concerned with how they got blown out tonight, to even be considering a moral victory. But at the same time, though, I guess they can look at it on the positive side and say, at least we didn't go down 2-0. At least we have a game in our pocket that we can take back at home with us. But at the same time, I don't like the moral victory thing either.
Okay, very good. So there's your answer, Mr. Callum McClurg. We thank you for joining in. We miss you very dearly. Okay, so now we talked about what LA did wrong, which maybe is a little bit of a disservice to the team that has won like 3 championships in the past 5 years. Minnesota, what did they do right? Okay, because obviously they made a huge adjustment. They lost on their home floor by a buzzer beater, and they come out and they win by 17, 19 points. So Dallas Diamonds, what do you think? What did Minnesota do right?
I mean, their defense, it was outstanding tonight. They literally took LA out of the game. They got in their heads early. Yeah, their defense was like the main reason they won tonight. In my opinion.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going to turn into Shorty Trump for a second. So Minnesota, they build a wall. That's what they did. They built a wall. They kept those illegal sparks out. They build a wall. Okay, back to Shorty. Back to normal Shorty. Okay, yeah, like I said, they changed, their defense, no overplaying, just stuck strictly man-to-man. And one point that I said in the last show that, came to be, I said they needed to get Maya Moore established early. And what I meant by that was not her, coming out and taking over the game, but, getting set up early. And once she would start, hitting shots in the first quarter, it made the defense honest. So AB and Carson, couldn't D up on her, really bad because she was hitting shots. And then, the first quarter, I would say the first half overall, she had 12 points. And that was the difference in this game. So they overall shot 45%. Again, rolled on the rebounding end, 46 rebounds, moved the ball well, 20 assists overall. So, they did everything right in this game from game one to, seal the win.
All right, now Team Petty Boots, we've gone over the Minnesota defense. We've gone over Maya Moore. Is there anything else you can add to that or maybe disagree with? Because this is supposed to be a debate. We're supposed to be arguing. What do you think Minnesota did right, Crystal?
Well, since you wanted to make it a debate and pretty much we all agree with each other,
Yeah, it's not working so far, is it?
So I'm just gonna go on a limb. I'll be like, Minnesota didn't do nothing right. The referees did it. The referees did it all for them. Yeah, that's who did it. Yeah, it was the refs. Ain't that right, Marquez? Yeah, they're
I'm
wrong.
telling you, all that bumping of the gums on the Minnesota sideline. I didn't like. They started influencing the refs way too early, and then it got into LA's head, and LA couldn't do anything. They couldn't sneeze because they were too afraid the refs were going to call fouls, and that's what happened. Exactly what happened.
But the consequence of having a panel composed of Sparks fans only.
Well, but you know what? In reality, it's hard to disagree because Minnesota really did play a good game. But for the sake of this show, and people want to see us debate, I'm going to say it's the referee's fault.
And what went wrong? Anna's lack of PT went wrong. That's what happened.
What? Lack of PT?
Please do not.
Hold on, teammate. Wait a minute now. Okay, I know we're on the team, Marquez, but I disagree.
Y'all know Anna is my girl. And then y'all were talking about her when she couldn't defend herself, and I was like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay, I like Anna too, but if you're not mentally if you're not mentally ready to get your number called in one of the biggest games of the season, you probably don't need to play. Look at Gruda. Gruda got her name called in one of the biggest games and travels as soon as she touches the ball. And I know we're supposed to be teams. I know I'm supposed to be debating with them, but you lost me with that one. Like you lost me with that one. Like for real. I can't even save you on that one, Marquez. You're on your own. You're on your own. I'm with you on everything else, but not that topic.
All right. We have another comment in the chat box by Mr. Callen. He says, #Stewart 2020.
Yes.
I
don't know if that's John Stewart 2020. I don't know if it's Brianna Stewart 2020.
Brianna Stewart 2020. No. It's definitely not Stewart.
It is. It's Shorty Stewart 2020.
John Stewart 2020. I definitely agree with that. I'm not supposed to be taking positions right now, but if John Stewart runs, I know who I'm voting for. All right. I don't care for whoever else it is. All right. Okay, so a little tidbit here. This is actually the first time in the season series, regular season included, that the home team has won a game. I think that. What do you guys think about that fact? Is that just it's just variance, like it just happens, or do you think it's because these teams are so evenly matched that home court advantage isn't really as much of a factor? Or Petty Boots, what do you think?
Do you want to start, Marquez?
Yes, I think when the teams are so evenly matched, I kind of think sometimes the home court or field advantage is kind of out the window. I mean, I feel like mentally weak teams crumble when the crowd is against them. And yeah, LA got blown out tonight, but at the same time, I think that had to do with a lot of things, including the refs. I hate to keep going back to that, but I just think that was a major pinpoint to see and gauge how the momentum would shift so quickly. But like I said, I feel like mentally weak teams crumble on the road, and LA's not one, so that's why I think this is the first time a home team has won.
When you only have a handful of games, you're somebody's gonna win, whether it be at home or away. Somebody's gonna win. I expected that to happen anyway. Like I expect LA to win at home in Game 3, and honestly, it's gonna go 5 games. So somebody has to win at home, somebody has to win it away. And you have a handful of games, and you have, like you said, 2 evenly matched teams. It's gonna happen. That was the first team to win at home, but it's significant, but I don't know if it really, as of right now, matters. It will eventually, depending on who wins, but as of right now, I think it's fate. It's gonna happen. A home team's gonna win at home.
Okay, Dallas Diamonds. What do you think?
I respectfully disagree.
I
think home court has, its advantages. For one, the refs. When you're at home, you expect, some of the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Some of the fouls to go your way. Some of the questionable fouls to go your way. There we go. And so, the home team normally gets those fouls. And when you're down or when you have the momentum, you know, your fans, they cheer you on, they get in the other players' heads. And yes, these are professionals, but you know, at one point in time, the fans are always gonna have that advantage of getting in the opponent's head. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I think it's an advantage in any other series, you know, but most certainly not, you know, this one because as everyone has already said, you know, these teams are evenly matched. And one thing about LA, you know, they're not afraid, you know, of going into enemy territory, especially, you know, at the Target Center or at a Excel Energy Center, you know, playing there, you know, they're used to the crowd, the boos, you know, in certain games where calls don't go their way, especially, well, in particular tonight, you know, it didn't play in their favor and they kind of got agitated, but they, you know, have been used to, you know, playing, you know, in the Target Center. So, no, they definitely weren't scared. You know, they know what's at stake and, you know, they're going to come, you know, ready to play throughout this entire series.
Okay, quick pit stop here. We have a question submitted by our faithful viewer, Kayla. Who says, why are you calling her petty boots? That's a good question.
Because their team is petty.
That's the name of our team.
The question why are we calling her petty boots? But she missed the first part of the program, so I will forgive her for that. All right, so series going back to LA, Game 3, all tied up, 1-1. What does LA have to do? You know, we saw tonight, you know, I think you guys hit on a lot of the major points. Candace Parker's got to play like Candace Parker. Nneka Ogwumike's got to take more than 6 shots. Is there anything else? Is there any, like, major factor, petty boots, do you think, for LA to really regain control of the series?
Rebound, make free throws, get to the line more. Actually have a little bit of patience with the ball. You know, when LA has a little bit of patience and actually runs plays, it works out well for them. When they actually take the time and set up and see the floor and get Nneka in place, get Candace in place, when they actually have a chance to do that, then it works out well for them. Driving in the ball more too. I mean, LA is too strong and too athletic to just sit there and chuck up threes all game and all day. And that part really bothered me. I mean, today, I think I almost popped a blood vessel at how many times I saw, you know, Essex go out there for a 3, or Candace sit there and pop open for a 3, or, you know, Anna not making the correct pass. Just stuff like that. It's small things, just little things like that LA needs to fix. And I think their defense was sharp until little ticky-tacky fouls started getting called, and I think they kind of didn't know what they could or couldn't do, so that kind of got away. But as long as they keep their defense sharp, get to the line, rebound better, hit their free throws, and actually be patient with the ball and run plays, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, I'd say rebounding. They just have to put a body on someone and just be relentless after the ball on the boards. Minnesota was beating them to basically every loose ball or every rebound, and that just can't happen. Maybe try not helping off of people so much, because I know Minnesota would just pass the ball and then it'll be an open look. So I think, like Crystal said, playing within their own offense as opposed to playing rushed and just taking their time, I think it'll benefit them a little bit better for next game.
All right, Dallas Diamonds, what do you think? What does LA have to do to regain control in this series?
Reagan?
I'd say that they have to make their free throws. Free throws are give me shots. Like, you can get to the line all you want, but if you're not knocking them down, then there's no point in getting to the line. Also, we need more assists. Like, Minnie killed us tonight. There's no reason we shouldn't be sharing the ball. And like they said, rebounds. We got to get them.
Yeah, I definitely agree, you know, with the assists. I mean, 20-13 in Minnesota's favor. I mean, it you know, it pretty much showed that LA wasn't sharing the ball. The offense was stagnant. They were just looking, you know, and if not, you know, turning it over. I know ESPN notification. Yes, I know. But, you know, beyond that, you know, other points that everyone has already touched on, you know, rebounding. Also, you got to get, our bigs more involved in Candace and NECA. We talk about Maya Moore not getting involved. And then those two, Batman and Batman were scoreless in the first quarter. So you got to get them established early on. Like I said, Candace has to make better decisions, as the leader of this team, have better shot selection, not just throw up anything. There was a reason why she was left wide open the entire night, because they were just daring her, and they knew, she couldn't hit the side of a barnyard, and that rang true. I mean, 0-3 from, the 3-point line. Got to do better, CP.
Kalen Mack Sports chimes in with Shorty and her Lakers with the ESPN notifications.
On time.
We greatly appreciate Shorty's contributions to the show. We know that preseason NBA basketball is very, very exciting. So we are very thankful that she's putting that on hold for us here at the network. Okay, we got another question from Kayla at Kzukoya. She says, did y'all already talk about Cheryl Reeve and her comment about NECA being the biggest flopper in the league? Much of a debate, because I'm pretty sure I know where everyone on this panel stands. But Betty Boots, we'll just start with you. What do you think?
I'm gonna start first. I know Marquez has some things to say because he already told me in my DMs how he felt. But you know what? When you're, as a professional, we all say things behind closed doors that we don't want anyone else to hear, and that's life, that's human nature. But when you're mic'd up and you're mic'd up, you kind of have to be a little careful what you say, especially when you know that someone can go back and say, hey, Cheryl, you said this, and whatever the case may be. And especially when you say something that's not very accurate, especially when you have one of the biggest floppers in the league on your team who flopped her way to a championship last year, especially when you are the same woman who threw your jacket off because you threw a temper tantrum in the middle of a game, and you're going to talk to a ref. You're going to talk to a ref, talk about something. They know it. She's the biggest flopper in the league. They know it. I know it. They know it. You know it too. No, Cheryl, we don't know, Cheryl. That's not what the footage said. The footage had said what the footage had said. The footage had said that Nneka Ogwumike got hit in the face with an elbow, and she fell. And Nneka's tough. Nneka's not. There's no need for Nneka to flop. Nneka is like the female Incredible Hulk, and I mean that in a nice way. So when you seem to tell me that NECA is the biggest flopper in the league, when you done flopped your way to maybe 3 of those championships that you have, you might want to be careful, especially when you're mic'd up. And I'm gonna let Marquez go because we only get 2 minutes. So.
And then not only that, they commit foul after foul that goes unnoticed and uncalled. Not only do they flop, they throw elbows, they grab, they pull hair, they scratch, they kick, they kiss, they do everything. And I was just sitting there like, one player, when if you turn around, it's filled with people that flop or do one thing or the other, and you can't say that about one player when she legitimately got hit in the face, and then you turn around and then you hitting someone in the face with the jacket. It just makes you look unprofessional, especially when you're on national TV and you're mic'd up, and then you can't turn around and try to apologize because we know you said it. We know you said it. That's what we know, Cheryl. We see. I mean.
Okay. All right. Okay. Most Diamonds. I know Petty Boots took a lot of the thunder here, but do you have anything to add to this?
Jordy, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I got this. Just overall, I thought, I thought her comments were classless, to be honest, because just to say that NECA is, the biggest flopper in the league, girl, that's a stretch. There are many players in this league, and NECA is down at the bottom of the list when we talk about, biggest floppers of the league. And, I do understand that, in a tense game, especially in the finals, emotions run high and, things of that nature. But to say that, she's the biggest flopper, is a stretch. And then when you look at the replay, I mean, pretty much Fouls got her. She's the elbow, she got her. I'm not sure whether that was a flagrant, one that, can be debatable. But other than that, she did commit the foul. And she has the nerve to talk about someone being a flopper when one of her players on the team, yes, McCarville, with the frame of a Subaru truck, has the nerve to yes, I went there. She has yes, I went there, but she has the nerve in a couple of past games to pull a flop on, or at least try to flop on Christy Tolliver, who is only 130 and way, smaller player. I mean, for her to try to pull a flop on a smaller player and then get mad at the refs because they didn't call it, I mean, that's insane. So I would need for her to look at her team first before, talking about anyone else. You have the number two.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I went there.
God.
I went there.
Holy. Right after it happened, I got in the DMs and I was just like, I feel like she should be fined for it. But I know the league is not going to do that because it's coach. But anyways, I understand, heat of the moment, blah, 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 blah. It's still unacceptable. You knew you were mic'd up. If anything, if you want to say something like that, you could have pulled your mic off. Or, just not say it. Wait until after the game to say it. Wait until after the game to talk to the refs. Make your complaints then. Don't do it while you're mic'd up. I feel like this is going to bring so much negative attention to the WNBA when they should be talking about the tight games that we're about to have and the series that we're having. I think it just takes away from the talent, and that's what upsets me the most.
Very well said.
You know what? I commend NECA for the way she handled the situation.
Mm-hmm.
She just kind of played it off and she remained classy. She didn't go back out on the court with an attitude. She didn't say, well, if you think I'm a flopper, well, let me, she really remained.
Just kidding.
Oh, but she remained herself. She did not get out of character, even though she really could have. So I commend her for that.
Never mind.
No, you should say what I said.
Never mind.
You know what? But NECA is a pretty classy player, and she gets beat up a lot. Like every game, NECA gets beat up on, and for her to stay composed as much as she has, I mean, you have to give it to her. That's a real pro right there. That's the idol. That's what you think of when you think of a professional basketball player. She doesn't fight back, even though I'm pretty sure if she did, it wouldn't end very well for the people she's fighting. But NECA just takes it all in stride and takes it well, and just all she does is run away to compete. You have to love a player like that.
All right, we got all that out of our system now.
Preach.
Okay.
Shorty.
All right. So, quick comment from Callan here in the chat box. He says, I've not been a huge fan of the in-game wired microphones or sideline reporter interviews when a new quarter starts. It sets up for a situation like this with comments getting blown out of proportion. Okay, so we got Greg Popovich in the comments box here. Not a fan of the between quarter interviews. What do you guys think about that? Dallas Diamond, go.
Oh, well, I'm a fan of them. I like to hear about what coaches are thinking, at the end between the quarters. I like the mic'd up thing too. I just feel like if you're mic'd up, then you should be responsible with the mics. NECA told Candace that she was mic'd up when Candace was saying something that she probably shouldn't have said. So, I mean, take it how you take it, but I like it.
Yeah, I definitely don't have any, problems with it. I mean, it's fun, to hear the thoughts of, coaches and players, even, when we might not agree still, it's great to, hear their voices, their thoughts and opinions on in-game action.
All right. Team Petty Boots, do you have a response to that?
Yes, I enjoy it. I like it too. The interview between each quarter, that's done at the timeout, so they kind of just edit it to make it look like it's going on while the game is going. But I love the mic thing. You know, I think listening to the mic is entertaining. Like they said, you just got to be careful. You know, I can't be on the mic and say some things because if I was mic'd up, I'd probably get fined. I'm just letting y'all know that right now. But I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. I think it's good to hear the mind of the player. Like there was a point where Nneka was pretty much taught Chrissy Tolliver through a screen, and that was very interesting to hear. You know, she's like, "I got you, KT. I got you, KT. On your right, like stuff like that. Like that's actually really cool to hear, and I think that is the whole point of having a player mic'd up.
Yeah, it lets you get into the player's perspective and mind. We don't really get that chance often. I do like the fact that we can hear what's going on between huddles, like the adjustments people make and just the teamwork. You can really just hear the flow of the team on the court, and I really like that. But like everyone else said, you got to be responsible. You can't pop off.
All right, no popping off allowed. Okay. So, at risk of being accused of being completely biased for the Los Angeles Sparks, which I am not. I don't know about you guys. I'm guessing.
Who said that?
Minnesota, all right. Settle down. Order in the court, please.
Because I'm here for the Sparks. Check my bio.
Okay, well, your team's not in it right now, so.
Wow.
All right, so guys, Minnesota played a really good game. Coach comments or no coaches comments. What do they need to do to keep the momentum going into Game 3 on the road in Los Angeles? We'll start with Team Petty Boots.
They kind of did it. You know, they got to get Maya Moore going early, which they did. They got Simone Augustus to go off, which is what they needed. She didn't take as many breaks as she did the other day, but there was still a couple of times she was on the floor as long as she normally was. But if they could keep Maya Moore going and get Simone Augustus going and have Lindsay Whalen play the way she did when she distributes the ball, I mean, and have Sylvia Fowles play well, I mean, that's all they need. I think for them, it starts with Maya Moore getting going. And once that happens, they're unstoppable.
Yeah, they just have to continue getting healthy contributions from their entire core. Moore, Augustus, Whalen, and Fowles have to continue doing what they do. And Brunson just has to keep being that physical force down low. She scored 10 points tonight, and that's always a plus for them. So as long as they can keep that going and keep the rebounding and the intensity going, they'll keep up their momentum.
All right, Dallas Diamonds, what do the Minnesota Lynx need to do in order to keep that going?
Well, Coach Reagan is about to talk. So they got to keep rebounding. They gotta keep running the floor. LA cannot stop them when Minnesota runs the floor. I'm sorry, but our transition D is it's not that great. And the bench has to be ready when their name's called. Like when the coach calls your name, you got to be ready. And today, I mean, I don't know how well the bench played. I don't see the stats in front of me right now, but they played better than they did the other day for sure.
I mean, I think they had, a good overall game. I mean, they can continue, hopefully, to build on the things that they did well in this game. I would say 3-point shooting still is a factor for them, only shooting, 23%. They're going to have to do better in that area, because they got, away. They got away with it in this game only because LA shot 15%. But in the next game, if LA has the three ball, rolling for them, they're going to need to be able to counter that with, some threes of their own. And then also, the bench just have to stay motivated into it. Only 8 points for the bench in the last game, 14, for them in this game. So they were definitely the difference maker in this game.
I agree. Okay, so Callan just says one more time in the chat box, although Reagan is right, the comments will bring more negative publicity to the league instead of what truly matters most, the game. And then he also says, just a reminder, Game 3 at Galen Center at the USC, Staples Center unavailable due to the Kings NHL home opener against Philadelphia. Excellent point. Thank you, sir, because I would have totally not remembered about that because I don't live in LA. So it would have been up to one of you out there in Los Angeles to tell me about it. I'm not sure if I depend on Crystal for such an issue, so...
Hey, man.
Don't talk about my teammate like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, Team Petty Boots.
Don't let her live. Let her live for tonight.
Okay, so I guess
Let her live for tonight.
Just what I think we should close the show on is just predictions for Game 3. Like, not necessarily we don't have to do just teams like who's going to win, but like what do you think is going to happen in general? Petty Boots, go ahead.
I'm sorry, my niece was asking me something. Can you please repeat the question?
I can repeat the question. Do you have any general predictions for Game 3?
Oh, yes. LA wins. I think they I'll tell you why. I think they win because they're going to look at this game today and they're going to look at everything they've done wrong and they're going to look at the way that it went. Because the game, they started off well. They started off pretty well. The game was close for a little bit. And then, bad decisions, bad shots, ticky-tacky fouls, missed opportunities. I think they're going to come back and look at it and say, okay, we can't win against a team as good as Minnesota if we keep playing like that. And I think it's going to take a lot of guts. It's not going to be easy, obviously, because of the finals, but I think LA wins. I think it's a close game. I think LA wins by like 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say LA just has to just go with the flow. They don't have to force anything because they're a good enough team that when they click, everything goes well for them. So, but the thing is, they just have to rebound. I keep harping on that, but rebounding around a lot. You can't allow a team like Minnesota, to keep getting. They're just too good. The least amount of chances they get, that's the best situation you have to win. And KT, I feel like she'll turn it around at home.
All right, Dallas Diamonds, predictions for Game 3?
I think the Sparks win just because, they have a long flight home to think about everything that they just did. They'll be back on not home court, but, they'll be back in front of their fans. And I feel like they're going to pick it up a level.
Yeah, I think overall, it's going to be a close, contested game. I think LA is going to make the much-needed adjustments, and I think Minnesota are going to make adjustments as well to be well-prepared and try to counter what LA is going to come in and do in Game 3. So I think it's going to be close. I do give Game 3 a slight edge to Los Angeles. And quickly, just a thought. I mean, even though there is, 3 Sparks fans, on the show right now, I think the show has overall done a great job, being objective, to both teams. And if anyone has a problem with it, it seems like you want this panel to be a pro-Lynx panel. And I'm sorry, you're just not going to get that from us. So if you want a pro-Lynx or hear pro-Lynx talk, then go watch Lynx 365 because you're not going to get it here.
Jeez, and I thought we was Petty Boots. All right.
I'm about to say, but I was just about to say, look at my bio. I am San Antonio down. What? I don't know how to get to LA.
Simone Augustus is. I like Simone Augustus. I'll leave it at that. But I mean, she's cool.
Money Mo.
I like Simone.
Okay, so hitting the chat box one more time tonight. Kalen closes with, I feel another split setting up for an epic Game 5 to cap off what has been an extraordinary season. I think the WNBA front office would agree with you, sir, but we will see what happens. So, yeah, Game 3 in Los Angeles tomorrow at the Galen Center at USC. Staples Center unavailable due to the Kings NHL home opener against Philadelphia. Yeah, that kind of sucks, but we know how it is. We roll with the punches. We deal with it. So, once again, after that game, we will be back here on air. Not sure about the time quite yet. Not sure about the show format quite yet. But like the Sparks, we've got time to go back and work on it and see what we did wrong here, which I'm sure is an awful lot. So until then, we will see you later. Team Petty Boots, any closing statements?
Yes.
Petty.
I have a closing statement. I love you all. And you guys are awesome. And I don't hate Minnesota like that. I'm just playing. But I do like Simone Augustus. And Marquez is pettier than I am. All right. That's all I had to say.
My mentions are always open for disgruntled comments.
That's right. His Twitter handle is @omarquez. So if you want any comment, disgruntle over there. Okay, Dallas Diamond closing statements.
Sorry, this really wasn't a debate. I mean, we agreed on a lot of stuff tonight, but what can you say? Refs suck, right?
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't really a debate, but I do like the format and the idea overall. And just, I know I'm going to have some interesting people in my mentions, so you're all welcome.
So should we change it from like a debate to just like a troll panel, like
Yes.
the most negative
We could
ever
do
to
that.
see who gets the worst mentions?
We could do that. And for the record, I think Mercedes looks better than Subarus. So if y'all want to give me a free Mercedes, y'all can go ahead and, bring it over here.
Okay, Crystal needs a new car. Okay.
If y'all like cars that are good on gas, Toyotas are good. Like Camrys are pretty good.
I have a Toyota. It works fine for me. It's ugly.
Well,
They're like really good on gas.
Y'all talking about cars.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about cars either. Okay, so I think we've pretty much exhausted our debate, if you want to call it that, and our material for tonight. So thank you very much for tuning in to WNBA 365. For Crystal Thomas, Marquez Anderson, Reagan Patrick, Tanisha Stewart, I am your host, sort of, Eric Nemchuk. We will see you again Thursday night after Game 3. See you then. Have a good night, guys.